Hi guys, welcome to LiveTutelage. Now in this session, we'll be discussing of files. We'll be discussing something called files. Okay, we know that file is a kind of a database, or we can even say it is a data structure. So which is used to store some content, right? Which is used to store some content. If I want to store some content, I can store it in files. So Java has a very good feature of creation of a files and of course of doing some operations on the file, right? So now coming to the operations and creation, what are the operations we will have on files? The first is the creation of a file, right? So the creation of a file. So how we have to create a file, like a normal text file, how we can create through the Java program, through the source program. Okay, so that is nothing but, say for example, now in our if you want to create a new file, we can go to our start and you can go for notepad and you can just create a file like this, right? Type something and go and save it. Otherwise, you can just right click it elsewhere on your desktop, right? And you can just say new, and if you want, you can create a text document like this. I want to create a text document or a file through my program, through the Java program. I want to create it. So that is one operation. The second operation is writing. I want to write something on my file through the program itself. If you want to write something in the file, you can do it through the Java program. Third operation is copying. So for example, I have file 1 and I have file 2. I want to copy the entire content of file 1 into file 2. These three are the main operations in the file. Of course, we have a lot of operations. If you want to remove some content, you can remove it. If you want to add some content with an existing file, you can add it. Or if you want to fetch some information from the file, if you want to find out a particular data in the file, you can search the content in the file. Okay, there are a lot of operations in the file. So now first in this example, we will see how to create a file and how to write something on the file. In the next session, we will see how to copy the file content into another file. Right. Now, for that I have created a simple Java class, which is example files. This is a simple class that I have created. Now here, we have to remember two things. The first is, when you want to create a file, it needs some classes, it needs some methods. So those methods and those objects, or the classes, the objects and the methods related to file, are in the package called IO, java.io. Okay, so if you have this package import in your program, then all the file related kind of methods and classes will be imported. So if you say .file, so all file related methods and classes, objects and whatever, this is a class, file is a class in the package IO, and all the methods which we have defined in the file will be added to our program. And if I say java.io print writer, so this is a class which is used to write something on the content, on the file, write some content on the file. Just like our system.out.println, how we use that to write something on the console. If you want to write something on the console, I will use a statement called system.out.println, right? Same as you have a print writer, this is useful to write something on the file. Now first we will see, we have to create an object first. So the file is a class. For that I have given an object called f1. So new file of, okay, new file of, I just say something like the first file, first.text file. Okay, so now here if you observe this, immediately you have a red mark, and if you put your cursor, which is not important, see here, so import file java.io, we which is important. Now your class file will recognize these methods, and this method is used to create a file. So this is like file object f1 equal to new file first.txt. Now you are assigning the file name. You are assigning the file name to the object f1. This is not, you are not checking or you are not opening. You are trying to open the file. This syntax is trying to open the file. You are trying to open the file, right? You are checking. Now here immediately I have to do what happens if the file does not exist. If there is no such a file, what I have to do? I have to create a file from the program itself. So this not equal to symbol will refers the present tense or not equality of the file. So if I say if not equal to f1.exist, that means if there is no file, right? If there is no file exist. Okay, so what you have to do? You have to create a file. So for that f1 dot, so just say create new file. It creates a file. Since this is something like an exception, right? This is something like an exception which we have discussed it from our previous session. So what I have to do is I have to put entire thing in the try block. So try file, and if not equal to f1 dot exist, then f1 dot create new file. Okay, now here, right? So this is a try block which you are trying, right? If there is a no file exist, I'm going to catch an exception. So because of that, you need to write it in try and catch block. So if file does not exist, create a file. Okay, now what I have to do once the file exists, after the creation of a file, what I have to do, right? If file does not exist, create a file, right? Else, if already file exists, so if this file exists, it will not come to this block. I'm going to write some content here. Okay, so for writing of the content, you have one more method called print write, which is a method. So print writer, which is a method in file, which is a method in print writer of IO package. Okay, now see, if I put the cursor here, it cannot be resolved. The reason is you have not imported that. Okay, now first create an object for this. P equal to new print writer of your file. Okay, now here if you put the cursor, it asks you to import the IO package of print writer. Just import it. So now you can, this is recognizable. Okay, now after this you have a method called writing. So for that p dot println of, you can write something like welcome to Java class. Okay, now I can even write one more text, say like by the portal LiveTutelage, right? So once the operation is done, once even my else part is done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the file. So p dot close your file. So for closing, you have to use close method which is available in this, right? So in print writer consists of two methods. One is for print writing, which is print line, and the second is close. These two are the methods which are available in print writer class. That's why you have to import a class called print writer and create file and you know the creation of reading of a file, all the operations of file exist in the class of file. That's why you have to import file package here. Now I have tried this. Now I'm going to catch. So I'm going to close my try block here and catch something called exception, right? Now you can just print the exception and you can close your class and you can close your main method. So this is about just creation of a file and writing some text on the file. So this part is for creation of a file. Just for creation you can just use create new file. Okay, and this is for writing content on the file. Now we'll see, and before that, where actually the path of the file exists means. So here if you just right click on the package, go to your properties column, you can find it here, the location. You can find the location is in D examples Java. In this location, all related of your Java programs and all your package related files will be stored here. Okay, you can go to this particular folder and you can check it. Now first we will see whether the first.txt exists or not in the folder. Okay, so this is the folder in D and this is examples and this is Java. There is no file called first, right? First.txt file. There is no file called text. Now we will run this program now and we'll see what happens. Now it is done. So once it is done, if you want to know whether it is done, you can just print some text after finishing of this so that you can able to know. Now see here, the first is created, and if you open this and if you just open this, it will be written something called the text, which will be, now you just run this and say Java application. Now in this file, this content will be created, right? The content will be created. You just run this. So you go to your file which is the first file. Now you can find the text, welcome to Java class by LiveTutelage, right? So this is the text you have written through your program. So what your program did. So here you need not have the else class because you are just creating the file and you are writing some content, right? No need to go for else class. That's why I just have removed the else. So first you try to open the file. If the file is not exist, create the file and just write the content, whatever you want to write it. Finally, you close the file. And if any exception, catch it. Okay, so this is about the filing of the Java. Thank you.